getting a new sofa, add the old one, you try and get rid of one of them, it's murder. Right? Called up the council, said I want to get rid of it. They said we're not coming round there till Friday. It was like a Monday. I said it's in the way. So I put it outside. They said you put it outside, you'll get a fine. I said yeah, but you don't know where I'm going to put it outside.
Yeah.
It's not outside my house.
No.
So they said, well, if you do that, we've got your number.
What's the
now.
sofa like? It's a beige one. Well, if we see that. Right.
So they said if you want to pay to have it collected, we can come and get it tomorrow. 30 quid. I said I'm not paying for it. It's madness.
Yeah.
So hung up, annoyed. Called my dad up. He said, oh, I saw this thing on the telly saying that you can donate your furniture to people who haven't got a sofa. Look it up on the internet. So I looked it up. There's a firm that does it.
Right.
Right, cheeky sods. Called them up, said, I've got this sofa here, I want to donate it to someone who hasn't got a sofa. He said, oh, what's it like? Is it in good condition? Yeah, it's all right, yeah. Well, why are you getting rid of it?
Okay, so somehow they've cloned you, Karl, and you've got him for one day. What would you do with this? What would you make him do? What conversation would you have with him? What would you do? Is there anything you could, how would you utilise him for one day?
Well, they'd both say, I'm not bothered. And that'd be the end of conversation.
Yeah.
What would do me head in is, does it think the same way, look the same way,
Exactly
dress
the same.
Yeah.
How would I know which one I was?
Because you'd be you.
That's amazing.
No, no, no.
How would I know which
That's
one I was?
incredible.
No, because-
that is the most stupid thing ever said by a human being. Can we get the Guinness Book of Records on this? Has anyone anywhere in the world said anything more stupid than how would I know which one was me?
But think about it, this other person's going, all right, thanks for meeting up and that. And I go, hang on a minute. No, you came to me. And then Suzanne would come home and she wouldn't know the difference. And then suddenly you'd start doubting yourself.
If you knew with certainty that today was the end of the world, how would you spend that final day? So, for instance, I've always wanted to smash up a bar. Do you know what I mean? It's strange, but I've always wanted the exhilaration of just smashing all those bottles, like you see in a film.
But would you enjoy it as much knowing that you're going to die in 8 hours?
I don't know, I suppose it's the sense of abandon, I mean, maybe I'd murder a person.
Wow.
Just see, I don't know, but I think I'd probably go mental.
Because that's
I've always been a very reserved person, I've never got into a fight, never caused a rumpus.
Yeah, but that's a worrying thought because we don't have to have the end of the world for it to be the end of your world, because a lot of people know that they're terminally ill, so they don't go around smashing up bars and killing people.
But I suppose I know there'll be no repercussions ultimately, because
They're
the
gonna die
next day
anyway.
everyone's gone, so
Yeah,
there's not going to be mourning families.
But then how dare you deprive that person of his last 8 hours or 10 hours of life?
I don't care, because it's the last day on Earth.
What would you do?
I've always wanted to kick a duck up the arse.
Under strengths, you've just put accounts.
Yeah.
That's your job, though. That's just. No, Keith. I was sort of looking for your skills within your job. So, is there anything else you could have put there? No. Okay. Under weaknesses, you've put X. Right, you've left this section completely blank, Keith. You haven't done the Q&A.
I thought that you filled that in.
No. This is aimed at you. Look, to what extent do you believe that you have the skills and knowledge to perform your job effectively? And then you just tick one of the boxes. Not at all. To some extent. Very much so. Don't know. What would you tick?
Don't know.
Okay. Question 2. Do you feel you have received adequate training to use your computer effectively?
What are the options?
Same as they're always the same. Always the same. Not at all. To some extent. Very much so. Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know again. Okay. Do you feel you are given the flexibility to decide how best to accomplish your goals? Do you want the options again?
Yeah.
Not at all. To some extent, always the same. Very much so. Don't know. If don't know wasn't there, what would you put?
Naive. Why don't we remember the very early moments of our lives? Why is it? Is it because it would be too harrowing to remember the point at which we sort of boring? Because I don't really remember anything from those first few years. Why is it? Is it just because the brain's not fully formed at that moment?
I don't know.
The memory's not sufficiently developed?
I honestly...
It's got to be trauma, hasn't it? It's the things... Again, we were talking about me being younger, and the youngest I could remember back to was 1978.
How old were you then?
When
were you born?
72.
What,
you
you couldn't remember earlier than 6? You can remember back to about 2 or 3, most people. What?
No, no way. No way. My mum and dad don't even remember them. Because you're not doing anything. This is what I'm saying.
Mum and dad don't even remember me then. That's amazing.
Because they
Had lunch inside today due to shite weather. Sat next to an old fella. Old men's ears and noses carry on growing as they get older. Suzanne noticed his fingers were fat too. Maybe they continue to grow. Suzanne didn't laugh when I said her arse had the same problem. The fella on the plane was reading Koi Mag. It was a fishing magazine. I glanced over and noticed he was reading the Pond of the Month article. Don't think they could make it into a weekly magazine. Well, to be fair to you, because I remember seeing a guy on the train once reading Carp Monthly, a magazine dedicated entirely to carp, and it had Carp of the Month. And I just thought, you know, once you're like 3 months in, the editor must be stressing. Have we got any more carp? We got a carp that's actually done anything?
I reckon if they used the same one twice, there wouldn't be many complaints.
No one would be noticing.
No, that's the carp they used 2 years ago.
There was a really fat bloke on the plane. He was playing on his PSP. While I waited to go to the toilet, I looked at what game he was playing. It was darts. He's that fat and lazy, he can't even face playing a more active game on a games console.